October is here with the second half of the Ultraman collab. But what's next? Let's look ahead. Not that far ahead. We are seeing too much. I want to cut this short and only talk about October. Here, I will be simply transposing JP's month of August onto NA's October, so these dates are definitely not final and will probably differ. So call this an educated guess. Like and subscribe if you would like to see a similar video for the next month. So let's start with the Ultraman collab. This is the third run, and I honestly feel that if you rolled a good amount, it's safe to skip. This collab has very solid equips, somewhat passable leaders, and other units with niche uses. If you don't have any of these units, then maybe it's a good idea to roll a little bit, and if you have $30 burning a hole in your pocket, maybe you could buy Decker. Decker has two very interesting forms. One is used in ranking dungeons because of his fixed board change. The other form is a very capable red combo leader. I know this collab wouldn't fall in October if, and it's a big if this collab even makes it to NA, but Decker could be a really good red combo leader with this unit from the collab. This red combo team usually also has one of the new monthly exchange units, Gilgamesh Kerr. I would recommend exchanging for at least one of them, and two if you can spare it. The unit itself is a solid sub with a lot of utility and decent damage in the red team, and the equip is really good too with essentially 4 skill boosts. The other unit looks like a decent sub for a Royal Nautilus team, but I don't see it bringing much utility to the team. The equip is interesting since it provides a lot of bulk, but that's all there is to it, as the equip only brings an L to the team. Because, let's be honest, you will never make a T. So I think this exchange is optional, maybe one at most if you see a use for it. Next is the return of the Summer Rem, aptly happening a few weeks into fall. This is a very bloated egg machine, which will be split into 2 machines with slightly different lineups. Nothing really stands out to me, although there are 2 very good leader swap equips that you can actually buy. This event also brings the controversial 30 GFE for 1 BGM unit trade. Not only that, but they also limited which GFEs you can exchange for the other units. Gung-Ho said that they would revise the trading system for the next event, which I think means Halloween. I couldn't find a definitive answer, but I think Gung-Ho said that they would revert back to the old exchange system. So I am not sure if you'll be able to exchange for BGMs in the future. But for the NA server, I find it unlikely that we will start the event with the new revised system. So I am expecting the controversial BGM trade to be included this run, but I'd be happy to be wrong and see a better and more generous exchange system from the get-go. Gung-Ho also enabled players to exchange 25 low rarity units for one of the high rarity units, which I honestly like, even though I probably don't have 25 units to trade away. So in short, the Pad Island Rare Egg Machine is bloated with some, actually very few surprises that you could roll, so it is a somewhat skippable event. Next up is the new Gathering of Talents floor and title challenge. The dungeon itself is not that difficult, so there is not much to say except that the title looks really nice. The mid-month Super Catfest will bring a series of buffs to the Twined Fairy Flowers and Illusionary Artists. Nothing too significant will change, except for the middle transformation cooldowns for the Flower Fairies. The lineup might differ and the rates are typical for a Super Catfest, so this Catfest might not be that enticing unless you want to try your luck. I guess if you missed out on Sekka, this could be your chance, but I wouldn't hold my breath. And next up is the return of the Street Fighter Collab. Only a few equips from this collab caught my eye. The Ryu and Ken unit is the big highlight. I would honestly only trade for the units that you want and then get out. Next, the JP server celebrated 61 million downloads with a series of old school dungeons with fixed themes. Players were able to clear the dungeons for a total of 61 stones. They could also log in and get another 61 stones, 61 rainbow medals, and other rewards. I'm not sure how NA will handle this event. Maybe they won't acknowledge the 61 million downloads in JP and just run the event. I'm not entirely sure when it will happen or if it will happen, but I am leaning towards yes. Hopefully, they don't punt this to November and try to pass it off as NA anniversary rewards. JP also released GFE recolors at the end of the month, which would fall at the start of November, but these types of GFE recolors and buffs are sometimes released a bit earlier in NA, so I will include them in this video. The recolors themselves are somewhat interesting, especially this Ilm recolor. I guess be wary about trading off Ilm and Gremory if you are interested in these recolors. And finally, on the last day of August, JP had a Super Gathfest with 2 Hatsune Miku units. These 2 units are pretty strong, but I haven't seen them being used that much. This Super Gathfest looks more appealing to me than the mid-month one. But honestly, who knows if NA will get the Hatsune Miku units. These 2 units are not that groundbreaking, but I would like to see NA getting them. Looking at the whole lineup, I feel like this month is one where you don't spend too many stones and save them for a better event or collab. Like for instance, hold on a second. Sorry, like we could get the Dengeki Bunko collab, or maybe save for the Super Gathfest that will either include Paddy or Beyond, or maybe save your stones for the newly announced rerun of Final Fantasy. Thank you for watching, and again, if you'd like to see a similar video for November, like and subscribe.